What is going on, everybody? How are we all doing? And welcome today back to Formula 1 F1 2016. Today we're on to race 3 of the F1 calendar. We are racing at China and we kicked the episode off with some fantastic news. You can see there, we have finally, I say finally, it seems to have come through really quickly actually. We've got now the R&D that we invested in at the end of the Australian race, which was in the engine. That's come through and we've now got an extra 8 brake horsepower in the car, which is absolutely fantastic. Doesn't sound like a lot, but hopefully it can make the difference, because as I've mentioned before, when we're compared to the Mercedes, we just haven't quite got the straight line speed, and this is the kind of track actually in China where that can make a difference, because it's got an absolutely huge back straight and of course the start finish straight as well. But we're going to do the same as we have been before, lads. We're kicking off with the practice session. You can see here the track acclimatisation. This one we absolutely nailed, but as it happens in China, we haven't managed to do the tyre management one. We failed that one yet again, and this time around we failed the hot lap as well, the qualifying time, which is the first time that we failed that. We did that successfully at both Australia and Bahrain, but not to be here. But we still get some points for the track acclimatisation, so take the positives there. But one thing I did notice, sort of started from the fact that we didn't do well in the hot lap, is that this track didn't seem to suit the Red Bull whatsoever. We didn't have the pace that we had in the previous 2 races where we were right at the top end fighting for pole. We had decent pace, but the Mercedes were clearly a lot quicker, and it was going to be very, very, very difficult to match them in qualifying. But as you've seen, the sort of final third of this lap now would be absolutely awesome. If once again you throw a big thumbs up on this video. Support has been pretty decent on the first course, so thank you so much for that. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here, and there'll be a little eye at some point around this time in the top right hand corner as well. So if you've missed the first episode or the second episode, I'll put a link to the playlist in the top right hand corner. Click on that and you can catch it from the start. But yeah, we didn't quite seem to have the pace that we had in Australia and Bahrain. We were still decent, still up there, don't get me wrong, but in comparison, we got pole position in Australia and pole position again in Bahrain. It was always going to be very, very difficult to repeat that again. But you can see we're coming around the final corner now. We hit every single gate, I think, now, around both the DRS zones, which is pretty nice. But we complete the objective and we managed to get some more points to put towards our R&D.
I'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China.
So lads, here we are again, but in qualifying. This is qualifying 3, just like the previous 2. We managed to absolutely breeze through Q1, Q2, time to spare, did it in 1 lap, but this time Q3, I've already said, like, we just didn't have the pace compared to the Mercedes, so I was really aiming, the objective was top 5, and if we could get top 5 I'd be very happy. In practice our best position had been 8th, in Q1 we came 8th again, and in Q2 we came 5th, which is like, I was sort of like, you know what, we're getting there, we're getting the hang of the track, and hopefully we can repeat it again. You can see it's a pretty tidy lap up to now, but the one area where we really seem to struggle on this track bizarrely is, I'll point it out when we get round to it, but it's the sort of hooked right-hander as you go into the back straight. For some reason, I feel like I'm taking it quite well, but it's hard to explain. When we first go and accelerate towards the straight, we don't seem to be able to accelerate out anywhere near as quickly as any of the other cars. And when I say any of the other cars, I really mean any of the other cars in the race. As you'll see, lots of cars just pull away from us at that point, even the back markers, if you like, as they're called, pull away. It's this part here. We swing around to the right, like I say, I feel like I'm taking it pretty well. I don't think I can push it any further without going off to the left. And everyone else at this point just seems to get that extra few yards quickly. We seem to catch them up the back markers as you get down the straight, but they just seem to have the better initial sort of 100 yards, if you like. But we're coming down the back straight now. The DRS has been activated. Like I say, these are the parts of the track that just don't suit us too well. We haven't got the top end speed like the Mercedes to be competing. We bring it around the hairpin right, take it a little bit wider than I would have liked, but still not too bad. Coming into the final corner, which is often quite deceiving. I think you can take this corner quite quickly, but it doesn't, it looks sharp, if that makes sense. But you can see, about to cross the line, and we come in with a very, very, very reputable 3rd place. Not pole, obviously been pole on the first 2 races, but to get 3rd, I was extremely, extremely happy with.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. With that then, let's run through the grid order. Nico Rosberg will start his silver arrow from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have a Red Bull, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Bottas, Massa, Sainz, and Jenson Button, Kvyat, Gutierrez, Fernando Alonso, and Grosjean, Perez, Hulkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, and Jolyon Palmer, Nasser and Ericsson, Pascal Wehrlein, and Rio Haryanto completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So you can see we're on the grid now, lads. We picked the strategy that is 4 stops, and that is very interesting. I'll explain why in a second. We're sitting on the grid now, and for actually the first time in this career mode, we get an exceptional start. We've really struggled off the line in the first 2 races, but you can see we're absolutely reeling Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. I thought about going for the gap down the middle, but I thought it was a bit too risky. First lap, don't want to be crashing out, obviously. Want to just get in a good lap, hopefully pull away from the pack behind and just not lose any places more than anything. But it was a really, really promising start. And what I want you to think about now is the 4 stopper that I've just mentioned, because what happens towards the end of the race, I don't want to spoil it too much, but the strategy plays a major, major part in the outcome of today's race. But you can see, 3rd place in here, we're comfortably, I'll say comfortably, we're doing well to keep up with the Mercedes at the moment, 1-2. Behind us we've got Daniel Ricciardo, teammate, obviously we want to keep him behind us, he's our main rival, as well as our teammate. But it was a very, very solid opening lap. I mean, like I say, from the first 2 races we've really struggled off the line and we've been on the back foot, but I really felt in this one like we're putting Hamilton under a lot of pressure. It almost felt like, to an extent, Rosberg was in the lead, he was holding up Hamilton, and like I say, we were really trying to pounce on him. You can see here though, this is what I mean about the acceleration out this corner. We take the right-hander and just look at Hamilton and Rosberg pull away from us all around here. I don't know what it is, they just seems to get a much better run out of that corner compared to us, which is absolutely crazy. Because like I say, I don't feel like I was doing much wrong. It was just, they just appear to have the much better acceleration for some bizarre reason. But Ricciardo makes a bold move here. He's coming up on the right-hand side of us. We have to try and defend him, but also bearing in mind he's our teammate and our rival, but we do manage to show him off. See him out is more what I mean there, and that is just one of several incidents throughout this race, because this was a fantastic race as far as sort of close racing, competitive racing goes. There was lots and lots of action, as you will see in the next few laps. But we're across the line now. We're going to jump forward now to lap 3, and you can see we're still keeping up with the 2 Mercedes at the top end, and this is coming in towards our first pit stop, if I remember correctly. Ricciardo again trying to pass on the right-hand side. Always going to be the case because he's got the DRS behind us and the draft, but we do manage once again. We're just that little bit more brave in the braking. We go around the outside and just about hold on to the position, which I was super happy about, because this is huge. Once again, we're pulling into the pits here. It's the first of 4 stops in this race, and wouldn't you know it, we go a bit wide there, but wouldn't you know it, Ricciardo also comes in just behind us, and that means Ricciardo then has to wait for us to finish our pit stop before he can go out. Now, if we'd have been just behind Ricciardo, it would have been the same, but the shoot on the other foot. So this has actually saved us about 3 or 4 seconds, I would say, which is a huge, huge saving in F1 terms. So we managed to get in just ahead of Ricciardo, thank God. Didn't even realise he was pitting at the same time as us at the time. But we come out of the pits, going on to lap 4. Of course, we drop right towards the back end of the grid. But we now have a little bit more of a stint to hopefully pick up some places when people are in the pits and move our way back up the top. And you can see that's exactly what's happened. Once again, we're back behind Lewis Hamilton, which is again fantastic marker, because if we're there with Hamilton and Rosberg, probably going to be at the top end of the grid. Now, we're on the same tyres as Hamilton, so I sort of assumed at this point we were on the same strategy, and you can see at this point actually it's a bit of a hold-up. I can't think who it is just to hit the front there. It's someone like Sergio Perez, maybe Alonso, someone like that is basically causing a bit of a train, basically, which is really, really holding up Rosberg and Hamilton. We managed to capitalise on this by going to the right of Hamilton. You can see this is the first time where we actually get a semi-good run out the corner, and even then still Hamilton manages to pull away, and we do run a bit wide there, which costs us a bit of time. But you can see loads of close racing in this race, which you don't see all the time in F1, of course, but they've just got the pace down this straight. They managed to pull away, and it's we're coming into the pass now. It's Palmer, sorry, Jordan Palmer that it was. Who did I say it was? Alonso. We managed to get him right on this left-hand corner here, which is perfect because we get the DRS, of course, and we just fly past him, essentially. I mean, Palmer has got one of the slower cars on the grid. I say we fly past him. It was a bit of a struggle. He had the DRS as well, but we managed to get the pace on him. You'll see us flick the car around him in a second. I say we fly past him. We didn't fly past him anywhere near as much as I remember, but we do get the run out of the corner. But make the pass, and once again we are stuck behind. I say stuck behind, we're back with Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, which is absolutely fantastic. That's where we want to be, still in that 1, 2, 3 order that we started the race. We're skipping forward to lap 10. Again, we're still in touching distance. In fact, we are literally in touching distance of Nico Rosberg at this point. Come very, very close. A little bit of contact, but nothing too major. Managed to hold off on him, take him on the inside. But you'll see later in the lap, we're going to skip to the right here, get him on the inside corner. But then later in the lap, he does manage to get us with a bit of DRS, as you're about to see. That Mercedes power is just absolutely just too much for us in this Red Bull. You can see here, coming down the straight, always going to have the run on us. I mean, I've said that a bit soon. He's coming on the straight now, always going to have the run on us. Got the DRS as well. Absolutely flies past us. It's absolutely mad how much quicker that Mercedes is down the straight line. But again, we're quite brave going into the corner, trying to take the outside line, then cutting in onto the inside, side by side. Again, some fantastic racing. But again, Rosberg's power is just a little bit too much for us, unfortunately. And still, though, very happy with how the race is going. Now we jump forward to lap 14 now, and this is our third pit stop of the race. Coming into the pits, we're currently sitting in 10th position. Of course, at this point, I'm anticipating that all the cars ahead have still got to pit in, because remember, the only options we had as far as strategy went were to pit in for 3 laps or pit in for 4 laps. Now we pull into the pits here in 10th place. We drop back to 13th already, and we end up coming out in 14th place. I think it is now. No, we're further back than that. Sorry, a bit further back. Back in 16th place, so we've got a lot of places to make up again. The idea with this strategy is that we're always on the quicker tyre, and we can get the run on and work our way through the grid nicely. Well, that's the way it's supposed to go at least. But we're going to jump forward now to lap 17. We've passed a few cars that were in the pits. We're currently up to 11th place. We get a bit of a run here on Fernando Alonso. Get past him, I mean, the McLaren is notorious for being one of the slowest cars on the grid, and whenever we come up against Alonso or Button in sort of a draft or DRS situation, we just absolutely seem to blast past them more than any other car on the grid, which backs that up. But not a lot happened really. We're into 9th place. We've passed a couple of cars. We're pitting in now, lap 21 of 28. And this is where I've started to realise that things might be going a bit wrong, because we're pitting for the 4th and final time. Nothing wrong with that. We're still in 11th place. We come out the pit in 11th place. And at this point, I'm assuming there's 7 laps left to go. Hopefully, everyone else has still got to do one more pit stop. Now, you'll notice we've jumped all the way forward to lap 27 here, and we managed to get the pass and move into 8th position on the grid. Nice little move, actually. We get sort of a double back inside, but we didn't go on the grass a little bit, but still managed to make the move stick. But that was as high as we got. We passed, was it Hulkenberg there? We passed Hulkenberg. We could not pass anyone else, so we're just too far ahead. And at this point, I was like, well, surely they can't have pitted 3 times, because we had good pace with Hamilton and Rosberg all the way. You can see there, crossed the line in 8th place. But the way it happened is a lot of cars pitted twice, and I thought it was pretty crazy that we didn't even get the option to pit twice. Obviously, that extra pitting that we did wasn't great, because Lewis Hamilton, Rosberg, they both pitted 3 times. It's clear to me now after 3 races, we always need to be taking the pit strategy where you pit the least. But it just shocked me that a lot of cars managed to do it in 2 stops, and there was some crazy results. Raikkonen had a good race, going from 4th or 5th to 1st, I think it was. But strategy once again costing us, and not yet in a single race have we managed to match or better our qualifying. It seems right now that our qualifying is pretty stunning. Then we just lose out in the race. You can see all these cars that pitted 2 or 3 times. 3 stopper was obviously ideal, but I still think strategy once again has cost us. And in future, 100% I will always be taking the pit strategy that requires the less pitting in rather than the sort of quicker tyre strategy. But that brings an end to this race. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below on how the race went. Obviously not great by any stretch, once again strategy costing us. Love to hear your opinions though. I will speak to you all in tomorrow's video anyway. Let's have a fantastic night. I hope you enjoyed the video. Nidge out.
Yo, he's Nidge, plays with big games and player reviews are getting insane. He entertains while he elevates, his video quality resonates. On career mode, he got lots of vids uploading off and he's rocking it. He's got the confidence in all his commentaries. Videos range, they often vary. Got need for speed and a road to glory. Just watching vids and you know the story. The content is underrated, I'm understating, so don't ignore the like and subscribe button to support the channel that keeps running. It takes 1 second, like it's free, it costs nothing. Peace.